Hello everybody, Ministorm here. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XI Online. In the last episode, we tracked Gesho down in Mamuk and overheard him conspiring with the Mamul-Jah to overthrow the Ot-Urgan Empire, so he's been kind of duplicitous with us. And then, after we were discovered, we had to fight a Mamul-Jah boss, and then in the ensuing events, Luzov and his imp minion showed up, and we're making off with Objang, and in the ensuing antics, Aphmau ended up jumping through the teleportation portal that Luzov used to teleport the puppet out. So she is now missing, and we're going to have to go track her down. So that is kind of where we're at here in Ot-Urgan. But today we're going to be doing something a bit different. I'm going to be doing a bit of a detour to go unlock the Abyssea content, because I haven't done that yet, and I really want to get that done pretty much right now, and I'm going to explain a little bit why. So we're going to be talking here for a little bit. So I got my Ranger to level 99. So I went ahead and worked on getting that to level 99. So my Ranger is now too powerful for the level 75 era content. So Treasures of Ot-Urgan and Wings of the Goddess, which is coming up next. So I'm going to be switching to Warrior for that content. So I'm going to be moving over to the Warrior job for a while. And then I'm going to be working on gearing out my Ranger, because I want kind of this Ranger, possibly also the Dragoon, to become kind of the more end game jobs that we're going to be doing, especially as we begin to approach the Seekers of Adolin, and then I think after Seekers of Adolin is Voracious Resurgence. I think that's the case. Once we're kind of beyond Adolin, I really am not that familiar with the story missions and quests, so that's something we're going to have to figure out. And I bumped my mic. The gearing process for those jobs is long and time consuming and resource intensive, and we need to start sooner rather than later. And one of the important pieces of gear or sets of gear that I need to get is the Empyrean gear. The Empyrean gear comes from Abyssea. Now, in and of itself, much like the artifact gear or the relic gear, by itself isn't that impressive anymore. It used to be kind of the best gear in the game, but isn't anymore. But in subsequent expansions and patches, they added the ability to reforge that gear and then to enhance that gear up to the modern standards, and now like the reforged and +2'd and +3'd Empyrean, relic, and artifact gear sets are some of the best gear that you can get for each job in the game. So you need to get the base sets first in order to be able to do the reforging process, and that reforging process is also a time-consuming, resource-intensive process. So I need to get started on that sooner rather than later. So that's what I need to work on. And the reason why I'm doing it now is because there is a monthly adventurer campaign coming up here in a week and a half for November 2024. That is the Abyssea adventurer campaign. And what that does is it makes it easier to get some of the Empyrean pieces. Much easier to get some of the Empyrean pieces. So because this opportunity is coming up now, I need to get that opened up and unlocked so that I can get into it when that campaign starts and get those Empyrean gear pieces that I need. I want for Warrior, eventually for Ranger, for Dragoon, all of that. So that's where we're at. So let's get to it. So I'll stay on Ranger for now, because we're probably not going to be fighting much, and if we do, I would like to be able to just annihilate it, so we'll stay here. Where we're going to be going is Port Juno. I think it's this home point. Actually, I don't think it matters which home point we use. Now, I believe I postponed the start of the Abyssea mission quests. So, there should be the Tales beginning. Okay, yeah, it's over there. Right. This was the correct home point to go to. Alright, so Tales beginnings. Start the previously postponed storyline Abyssea. Yes, please start it up. Alright, I guess we're having a vision. And everyone else seems oblivious to what's going on. Oi? Come on now, open your eyes. You alright, lass? Gave me a right fright, crumpling to the ground without warning as you did. Eh? A pink flash of light in the sky, you say? Took a knock on the old noggin when you fell, most like. No one from around here has seen anything of the sort. What are you called, if I might ask? Tuna, eh? The name is Joachim, and the fact that you remember your own name... the fact you remember your own means your wits are intact, I'd say. Tuna. What you witnessed just now was no trick of the mind, but as real a thing as the folks in this bustling port. You saw what you did because you've got potential. Aye, that you do. But whether this potential will serve you good or ill is not something I can say. Remember what I just told you, though, and if you ever start wanting answers, come and seek me out. Alright, so now we're going to go find Joachim and inquire further. Which he is sitting right over here. Well, if it isn't Tuna, I knew you'd come seek an answer sooner or later. So you'd be wanting to know about the strange flashlight you saw? I'm not one for beating around the bush, so I'll say it straight. What you witnessed was a phenomenon called noise. The irregular brushing of one dimension against another. Ordinary folk don't see such things, mind you, so I suppose that makes you extraordinary. The theory is that you've got a natural attunement to the phasic alignment of our dimensions. That be the potential I spoke of when I found you sprawled on the ground. You look a bit out of sorts, and I don't blame you. The truth can be a bitter draught to swallow, I know. I have nothing more than to say this is just some hearth tale, I'd love nothing more than to say this is just some hearth tale, I would. We'd all be happier that way, to be sure, but what's an adventure if she turns her back to reality? Now, this isn't to say that I take you for a faithless type, but I got a feeling that simple words won't do. Some things a woman's just gotta see with her own two eyes. So, I want you to have this. It's a traverser stone. If you truly got the potential, I marked you for that stone. Oh, if you truly got the potential I marked you for, that stone there will guide you on your way. Take it with you and pay a visit to one of them cavernous maws. You know, of those ghastly things, aye? Mind you, the ones that are frozen like stiffs won't serve. Lathen Plateau, Konstedt Highlands, Tarongi Canyon, Jugner Forest, Volkerm Dunes, Boomerima Peninsula, Zarkabard, North Gustaberg, South Gustaberg. There be malls in these areas. What we've freed, or would have been freed from their inanimate state. Won't be the reason for this, though. Your coin's as good as mine. Don't you know where the answer awaits? The rest is in your hands. But I'll leave you with a word of warning. Seek the truth with frivolous intent, and it'll cost you your life. It's no idle threat, but simply the way it is. Never you be forgetting my words. Okay, so we got a traverser stone. Now, the traverser stones are a resource that builds up over time. You generate one traverser stone every 20 hours. And they're needed to sustain you in the Abyssea areas, which we'll see here in a moment. The other reason why I kind of want to get this started, because I need to start building up those traverser stones for doing work in Abyssea coming up here in a couple of weeks. So, there's that. Alright, so we need to get out to one of those maws. And I think the easiest one that we're going to get to is in Jugner Forest, if I recall correctly. So we want to go to a survival guide, which the closest one is in Relude Gardens. And we want to go to Norvalen, Jugner Forest. Now, let me just confirm something real quick. Just a moment. Alright, just needed to confirm what I needed to do. Alright, so the mall should not be too far away from the outpost here. No, it's literally right there. See, this mall here on the map is the Abyssea Mall. This mall down here on the map is the Wings of the Goddess Mall. So, just a distinction. Alright, there it is. Now, what we just have to do is click on it. We'll get a cutscene. And this will send us into one of the 6 main Abyssea, not 6, 9 main Abyssea zones. An unseen force is drawing you towards the maw. Proceed. Alright, so we have entered one of the Abyssea zones, which I don't have the map. You actually have to buy the map from one of these guys. I think the Cure Prospector. Now, normally when you come in, you have to talk to the Conflux Surveyor, and you get Visitant status, which consumes your Traverser Stones, but you can stay here longer than 5 minutes, because if we don't, then we only can stay here for 5 minutes before it'll forcibly kick us out. Now, I don't think I can actually talk to the... Yeah, I need Visitant status in order to interact with those. But for now, what we're going to do is we're not going to get a Visitant status, and we are just going to exit out. Now, this lets us keep our Traverser Stone, but because we didn't get Visitant status, we'll leave with less than 5 minutes left on our timer, which is at a necessity without Visitant status. You get locked out of entering any other Abyssea zones for an hour, an actual real-life hour. So, I won't be able to go into any of the other zones for an hour, but shouldn't have to do what else we need to do. So, what we need to do next is we need to return to Joachim and continue with the quest. Because, even though we're locked out for an hour, because we still have our Traverser Stone, we can still flag the next set of quests, which is what I want to do. And that's pretty much as far as we're going to go right now. That opens up all the zones to allow me to actually get to them, and lets me go in and start doing stuff in there, but not actually progress the missions or the quests. So. No, not lower. We're going to port. That one. All right, Joachim. My apologies, lass. I could have just told you everything, but there was not quite like having a cold hard rally shoved in your face. You've got a quick head resting on your shoulders, so no doubt you've already pieced it together. I'm not of this world, but a visitor come from the plane you've just paid a visit to. Abyssea, we call it. Having now seen it with your own 2 eyes, it's needless to tell you the shoddy state Abyssea is in. Without so much as a howl of warning, we were overrun by fell creatures that put nightmares to shame. Whole nations were reduced to piles of rubble. The once blue sky turned to blood red, and the saviors we'd prayed for were all felled one after the other. Those that weren't taken in the first wave of destruction were left to live in despair, cowered in fear, if so much as a shadow flickered past. I know full well I've no right to ask this of you, but I must. Please help us. We've got no hope left save what we can find in brave souls such as ye. I beg you, be the glimmer of hope my folk and I so badly need. You betcha. You've no idea what this means to us, Tuna. We're forever in your debt. To help you help us, it'll be my pleasure to share all I know. To recap what I've already told you, the cavernous malls are portals to Abyssea, but the door won't open unless you've got one of them traverser stones. That's not their only purpose, mind you. Besides being keys, they also serve as anchors which secure your essence to foreign dimensions. In simpler terms, they allow you to stay within Abyssea, though not indefinitely. One's good for a 30-minute stay, Earth time, and 3 of them is the most you can hold at once. Do the math, and you'll get the longest stretch of time folk of your world can stay in Abyssea. I don't know what that was. Now, what I'm about to tell you is deathly crucial, so take it to heart. Stay anchored in another dimension overlong, and what was temporary will become permanent. In other words, you risk losing for good the means to return home. A bunch of my mates and I are living, walking proof of such a tragedy. But you can rest assured, for traverser stones, these days are worked with a safety measure. At the first sign of trouble, it'll catapult you back home safe and sound. Well, that's just about the beef of it. Come and see me whenever you want a traverser stone, eh? I might not always have one on hand, though, as it takes a bloody long time, 20 hours to be precise. Again, Earth time. To infuse one with energy. Any less, and they're about as useful as skipping stones. Alright, so that means we are now able to begin accumulating traverser stones. So, we now need to get out to the 9 maws and just interact with them. Because that does a couple of things. One, it should trigger the starting quests for each of the zones. And it also opens up each maw, where if you talk to Horst here, he can teleport you. Yeah, he can teleport you to a maw, which is very convenient. But for now, I'm going to have to get out there manually. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to head right back out to Jugner Forest, because that is the easiest one to get to right now, I think. Come on, load my mounts, please. There we go. Okay, so if I touch this, I should start a quest. I've been waiting for you, Tuna. Much have I heard of you from Joachim. Monakari is my name, and I too am a native of Abyssea. There exist two cavernous moths here in the Dugner Forest, although you may have noticed a difference. It intrigues me as to what has caused the one to be turned to stone. However, I haven't the luxury of time to be sating my own curiosities. The two of us have matters of far graver import to discuss. Firstly, you would do well to know that this maw is connected not to the Jugna Forest of Abyssea, but instead the Von Curl Inlet. Some have theorized that a dimensional misalignment has caused this, but you needn't rack your mind with academic ponderings. Are you familiar with the inlet? It is a place of both beauty both wondrous and serene. But no more, for it was reft of its glorious vistas the day the sky turned crimson and hordes of abominations flooded the land. There's one thing I find puzzling, Tuna. You've seen with your own eyes the sickly state of Abyssea, yet you insist on going there. What is it that drives you? Whatever your answer is, keep it to yourself. It matters not whether your reason for setting foot in my home would be materialistic or altruistic. But enough pleasantries. I've come here for other reasons than to brief you on the current situation of Vunkerl, and brief you I shall. Well, for no other reason. The resistance effort in the inlet is built around early model Martellos, whose functions are augmented via a central unit, the Pulse Martello. An outpost was secretly established especially for the purpose of housing the latter. Of late, however, the Abyssian hordes have taken to attacking the outpost with unnerving singleness of mind. We only conclude that the enemy have somehow learned of its strategic importance. Our defenses have held up thus far, but cannot indefinitely repel such a determined enemy offensive. And to compound matters, Vunkerl's terrain places us at a distinct disadvantage against besiegers. Unless more people aid in the outpost's defense, the resistance effort in Vunkerl will surely end in failure. I myself would have long since leapt into the fray, but I share the same fate as Joachim and can no longer return home. Alright, well, we can help. Truly, you have my thanks, Tuna. Joachim's trust in you is well founded, it seems. Before you cross over to Abyssea, however, there is one piece of knowledge you should take with you. There is a fell creature that has been terrorizing Vunkerl, a gargantuan beast identified as a Ruzor. Countless soldiers and civilians alike have fallen prey to its dreadful tusks. I had heard that Ruzors once thrived in great numbers of the Northlands, but were hunted to extinction soon after the Great War. How is it possible, then, that such a terrible specimen has survived to this day to now prowl the inlet, where none has been seen before? Could the destabilizing boundary between worlds spoken of by that Taru be the culprit behind such inexplicable occurrences? When that oddball member of the Resistance put forth this theory, we all mocked him for a fool, but now I wonder. Regardless, I counsel you to avoid engaging that creature, the Ruzor, until such time as you've acclimated to Vunkerl's environs. Be careful out there, Tuna. I shall be praying for your success. Okay, so each of these is basically going to tell us to go fight a boss monster enemy. Now, the thing about this is that in order to do that, you have to gather the various required key items to actually pop the thing, which involves a convoluted chain of getting pop items to pop notorious monsters to get pop items to pop more notorious monsters, to eventually get the pop items that you need to pop the boss. So what I'm probably going to work on all of these is to gather all or as many of the pop items as I can, and then we'll go through and fight these at some point. Alright. I guess the next place we want to go to is going to be Kronstadt Highlands. I just got to figure out where that maw is. Oh, it's all the way down by the entrance of North Gustaberg. Actually, what might be easier is to go to Gustaberg. Oh, do I not have the North Gustaberg outpost? Ooh. Okay, well, that's a bit of an issue. Alright, well, it looks like I'm in for a long chocobo ride. Alright, well, I'll take care of that, and I'll be back once I'm there. Alright, we're approaching the maw. Oh, there's someone else here. I'd keep a wide berth of that cavernous maw if I were you. That thing you're holding? Is that a traverser stone? Well then, that must make you Tuna. Joachim has told me much about you. It's a true pleasure to finally meet face to face. My name's Nora. Like Joachim, I'm a native of Abyssea. We're eternally grateful to you, Tuna, for coming to the aid of a world not your own. What little help we have to offer, my comrades and I intend to give all to you. Never before has our world seen such dark times. The Abyssian hordes appeared without warning, seemingly out of nowhere. It all happened suddenly. Our nation's defenses were pitiful things against the enemy's unquenchable lust for blood. The result being a world ruled by death and destruction. It's hard to believe that Abyssea once rivaled your world, Vana'diel was it, in beauty. But everything changed after that fateful day. The cavernous maw you see before you leads to the Kronstadt Highlands of Abyssea. Don't let the name lull you into complacency, though, or you'll surely meet a premature end. The Kronstadt that lies beyond is a far cry from the idyllic highlands that you know. It is swarming with fell creatures, among which is one that has attained particular notoriety. A giant mutated subspecies of Peist. The best way to describe it is the best way to describe it. Its venom is reported to be of such potency, a dashing of it would burn a gaping hole through your garb. This beast has has wreaked immeasurable havoc upon my people. Putting an end to its reign of terror would restore much needed morale to the resistance effort. I realize this is but one monster, a drop in the ocean, yet all journeys, no matter how long, must have a beginning, and this journey is one we cannot complete without the company of brave soldiers such as you, Tuna. If you were to join together in common cause, there is no limit to what can be achieved. Before you go, Tuna, remember always that knowing the enemy is half the battle. Take whatever time you need to acclimatize to Abyssea. Last thing we need is to lose a newfound ally to a mishap that might have been avoided. Go carefully now, Tuna. Alright, so that one's now open. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and warp out Because next we're going to head to Tarongi Canyon. Yes, the seasonal event music. No. We want to go to Windurst Woods. Alright, we're going to bring me to a wanted encounter area, level 99. We want to go to Tarongi Canyon. I think this will get me the closest. Where the maw is. Not very close, but closer than any other method I can think of to get to Tarongi Canyon outside of walking all the way there. Okay, so it's all the way down there in the south. But the survival guide is way up there. The crag is there, so yeah, this is the closest. Alright, well, let me get over to the mall, and I'll be back once I'm there. Alright, we're almost to the mall. Let me take a stab. You're Tuna, right? Boy, am I pleased to meet you. I am Kochi Orochi, and I am out of this world, literally. I see you've brought your Traverser Stone with you. The cavernous maw here is connected to Abyssea's take on the Tarongi Canyon, and it's not proving to be a popular interpretation, I might add. Call me lowbrow, but I much prefer the canyon you've got here. But enough about myself. I know that you've a mind to see with your own eyes the horrors that lie yonder. I won't stop you from making the journey, but I am obliged to send you off with a warning. Your destination is fraught with danger. Okay, now that due warning has been given, I'm going to make an earnest plea for help. Help! To elaborate, a great cataclysm has befallen Abyssea. The blessing of the moon and the stars no longer reach us, and the boundary between worlds grows more unstable by the day. The situation has deteriorated to the point where nothing surprises me anymore. If a Dommel were to appear out of thin air, for instance, it'd be full. I'd be full, but hardly surprised. But I digress. Where was I again? Oh, right. What I was about to say was, we're being plagued by a giant worm. A giant worm, I said. What's the big deal, man? It's only a squishy a squishy worm, you say? To that I retort, these worms would have been extinct since the Great War, or should have been extinct since the Great War. What's more, this one's suspected of destabilizing the said boundary between worlds. Vanquishing this pestilence has become the top priority of us survivors, and by association is now your priority also. No one knows whether eliminating the creature would do any good, but what else are we to do? Oh, before I forget, there's something I want you to have. It's called Kurr. Don't you just love the way its deep red hue is reminiscent of freshly drawn blood? It's the currency in circulation in Abyssea, and I can no longer return home. I've no more use for it. And as I can no longer return home, I've no more use for it. Considering a send-off gift for my heroine who is about to head into grave danger. Remember, Tuna, you must fulfill my destiny. I got 50 crore. Crore. No idea. Alright. Crore. 2 minutes. You know what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do is this. I'm going to use the Tavnosian ring, which I can use once every day. Teleport me out to Tavnosia, and from there we can head out to the next destination, which is Lethen Plateau. Just gotta wait for the timer to count down. This to be ready. There we go. Okay, not sure why those doors were closed, but whatever. Wait, do we have a survival guide here? We should. Yes, we want the survival guide. Where I want to go is Ronfar, actually. I don't have that outpost either. Well, that's slightly annoying. All right, then. I should probably rectify that situation. Because the maw is basically just across the zone line between Ronfar and Lethen. So the outpost in Ronfar is right there. But I don't have the survival guide at that outpost. Just like I don't have the one in North Gustaberg. I also need to rectify that oversight. Alright, so I'm gonna ride because I want to pick up that outpost survival guide. And then we will head into Lethen Plateau and hit the maw. So I'll be back once we're at the maw. Alright, here we are. I grabbed that survival guide as well, as I said. Alright. Target out of range. Alright, get a little bit closer. Ugh, damn this chafing sensation. Why, that's Donya Bear. Am I correct in assuming that you're Tuna? The one and only. My name is Ragemont, and I was told that you might show... Ugh, confound it. I must ask you to disregard these abrupt outbursts. This pain is an inseparable part of interdimensional travel. Though I'm made to understand that people of this world do not experience it. Oh, you've not been informed? Then it would be my pleasure to explain. In crossing over to this world, residents of Abyssea suffer from a phenomenon wherein their strength is halved. Devivification, it's called, though the exact science of it remains beyond our fathoming. Curiously, the reverse is known to occur when people of your world cross over to ours, and it is exactly for this reason that you're so important in our struggle. Only with the help of your enhanced powers can we hope to subdue the Abyssean menace and set the world to rights. But I do ramble. Should you have any questions, my knowledge is at your disposal. Alright, we'll ask about the vivification. As I mentioned prior, the journey here from Abyssea causes our strength to become halved. In practice, it's as if we're in a constant state of weakness. Adding insult to injury, an unbearable chafing sensation assaults us without warning. That sounds bothersome, doesn't it? Yet we do what we must. The pain that ensues after each crossing compares not to the eternal death of our world. Not everyone is possessed of the ability to traverse dimensions, mind you. How it's decided that one child will be born with a gift, but not another, mortals such as ourselves may never learn the truth of it. The reverse effect? No rewards for guessing correctly, but the reverse effect is referred to as vivification. The process can be described in terms of plants. Imagine yourself as a sapling, and Abyssea as a pot many times larger than you're accustomed to, filled with humus-rich soil. As the sapling thrives in such an auspicious environment, blooming forth with flowers beauteous and many, so too will your strength and abilities flourish in Abyssea. Only those of your world with the ability to cross over to ours may attain the strength that is needed to battle the Abysseian hordes. Do you understand now why your aid is so valuable to us? Alright, I see. Yes, regards to the Traverser Stone. Beyond this cavernous maw lies another Lathen plateau, though you'll find little resemblance beyond the name. I must say, it eases the heart to stand beneath a sky that isn't a constant and bloody reminder of encroaching death. Once again, I must apologize. I am wont to become lost in such sentimental thoughts on occasion. The Lathen of Abyssea is no longer the picturesque, tranquil plateau we stand upon. Seeing its former beauty restored is my fervent desire. There exists an Abyssean monster that has been a great scourge to us, a gigas of fearsome stature and savagery who dons a golden helm. Defeating this creature would be tantamount to laying the foundation stones for our dreams of peace. Yet a foundation requires many a heavy stone to be laid if a sturdy tower is to be built. More often than not, though, it feels as if we go about constructing this tower of dreams bereft of an architectural plan. And so we come to this world, seeking the aid of brave souls such as you. By ourselves, we stand not a sliver of a chance against the Abysseian hordes. Egans, I've lost track of time yet again. I must away before I'm missed. Before I take my leave, however, I should offer you a few words of advice. You are not alone. There are others of this world who have been blessed with the same gift as you. And do tread warily when first you set foot on Abysseian soil, for though our worlds may bear some resemblance, the differences may well determine life and death. Till we meet again, fare you well. I think that's the reasoning behind the increase in the character level. Alright, so next up is going to be Bubarimu Peninsula, I think. Which what I'm gonna do is just real quick ride back to the outpost and use the survival guide to teleport over to Bubarima Peninsula. Which the outpost is not that far away. It's actually just right there. That's the field manual, right? This is the survival guide, teleportation assistance. Full shoo is where we're going. Bubarima Peninsula. Hopefully the mall is close to the outpost. And it is. It is very close. All right, there we are. Oh there, it's you and I presume? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Reinhard, and I'm a friend of Joachim's. Reinhard. You see the cavernous mall here? I'll wager that you think it'll take you to the Bubarima Peninsula of Abyssea. But if you step through expecting sandy beaches, you're bound to be disappointed, for it's a chasm that awaits you. The Ottawa Chasm, to be precise. The academic types among us suspect a dimensional misalignment to be behind this strange phenomenon. The theory is beyond my comprehension, so I'd thank you not to ask for an explanation. But I can guarantee you this, it's no less safe to use this cavernous mall than any other. I'm living, walking proof of that. Don't mind my sore throat. I see you've got a traverser stone with you. Good. I don't think I need to remind you how important these stones are for our cause. See that you don't ever misplace them. Now then, let us talk about the more pertinent issues. I understand you're no stranger to Abyssea, but it would serve you to learn of how things stand in the Ottawa Chasm. Like Vunkerl and Mizero, early model Martellos are deployed there, forming the heart of the resistance effort. Being older machines, however, they lack the power of their newer counterparts. For this reason, we've been augmenting their deficiencies via a mother unit called the Pulse Martello, which is located in a dedicated outpost. But the Abyssean fiends have somehow learned of the Pulse Martello's significance and now seek to destroy it at every turn. Each punishing wave of attack thins down our defenses. At this rate, it won't be long before they break through. If the Pulse Martello were to be put out of commission, the effectiveness of all machines in the area will be severely compromised. This outcome is unthinkable and must be averted at all costs. And we're in dire need of more capable people to aid in the outpost defense. I beg you, Tuna, help us repel the Abyssean hordes. Right. There's one more thing you should know before you venture forth. There's a creature that has been wreaking havoc on those who've taken refuge within the chasm. It's believed to be a Wamora of some description, a vermin native to the Near East. No one knows how it has come to be there, but all agree that it's a dangerous menace. I've already lost more comrades to this winged fiend than I care to count. Should you have the ill luck of crossing paths with it, don't try to play the hero. Not all things are worth giving up your life for. Be safe in your travels, Tuna. I don't think it'll give us any trouble. As well, all of this is level 99 content. It is not item level 99 content. The item level system that was implemented basically blows all of this out of the water still. Alright. And now we're going to head over to Volcrum Dunes. That is Zolkheim, Volcrum Dunes. Go on, give me my mount. Alright, and the maw is to the southeast. And that should not be a very long ride at all. So we'll just ride over. So we'll go ahead and unlock this maw, and then we'll probably call it a day there because I'm kind of running out of time. And then when we come back for next episode, we'll go ahead and unlock the remaining 3 maws, and then return back to Treasures of Oturgan. So that's kind of the plan right now. There it is. Hey you, step away from there. Sorry I shouted you, stranger, but it was for your own safety. Another ilm towards that gaping maw and you might have been... Hold on a second, is that a traverser stone in your pocket, or just something strikingly similar in shape and size? It is. Well then, that clears up everything. Nice and tidy like. Who am I, you ask? Aw, come on, as if you hadn't already figured out that I'm a friend of Joachim's. My name is Kuchi Ajan, and I hail from Abyssea. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Tuna. I understand you've already made the journey to my homeworld timer 3. I think these actually come from, because the Abyssea expansions were released in 3 sets, and this is from the 2nd set, so it's already kind of assumed that you've done all the work from the 1st set of the Abyssea areas, so that's why the NPC is saying that. Anyway, we gotta talk, you and I. Lend me your ears for a bit. Okay. Great. First of all, you should know that this mall here won't take you to the corresponding location in Abyssea. But rather, you'll find yourself all the way over in the Mizero coast. Strange, don't you think? Anyway, once you get there, don't be surprised if you find yourself feeling disoriented. That's just the natural reaction we all get when suddenly whisked away into a fresh new locale. But moving on to more exciting stuff, the latest and most riveting news, fresh from the Mizero front. Seeing how you've already been in the other parts of Abyssea, you know about encampments and the searing wards that protect them. In Mizero, however, you'll also find a military outpost which is set up for top secret reasons. That is, the command center for these those Martello thingamabobs. Now, you're probably wondering why such a place is needed there, but not in certain other parts of Abyssea. To answer that unvoiced doubt, it's because we only have early model Martellos deployed on the coast. Being rusty, primitive things, they lack for a bit of oomph, and so we've had to augment their functions to the mother unit called the Pulse Martello, or Modello, as some finally call it. Anyway, that's why the outpost was built to handle the running of the Pulse Martello. Things were just fine for dandy for a while, then the Abyssian hordes caught wind of this outpost's significance, came in attacking the outpost in floods. And I don't know how long we can fend them off. We urgently need strong folk to assist in defense. Folk like you, Tuna. The way your eyes sparkle with confidence, that's what the survivors have been lacking. With brave adventurers like you around to instill courage, though, I think we'll start seeing eyes sparkling once more. Ah, it's almost slipped my mind. There's one very important detail you want to know. There's a right fearsome creature that's been a scourge to the folk of Misero. Have you ever come across orobons before? Big, terrible fish they are, and tasty to boot. But above all, big and terrible, yeah? They're supposed to be native to Near Eastern seas, but for reasons unknown, one has appeared much closer to home. The eerie lantern hanging from its head is a surefire way to identify it, but its hulking size alone should be clue enough. It's huge, I tell you. So massive, in fact, that I bet its sweet, succulent flesh could feed an entire litter of growing Mithra for weeks. Well, if anyone could slay it, that is. Many have tried, but all have ended up becoming its supper instead. Watch yourself when dealing with that thing, you hear? Yikes, my stone's about to run out of charge. Looks like it's time for this little kitten to take her leave. Be seeing you. Alright, so that is the first 6 zones opened up. And there are 3 more that we need to do, as I said. So we'll get to work on that next episode, and for now, we'll stop here. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.